It's that time of year again, fellas. EA has officially revealed the position ratings for the upcoming NHL 25 game. And every year there's a few players who are underrated and overrated, and a lot of people have some changes that they want to make. So today I'm going to go through every single list that EA has officially revealed and fix them based on who I think should be ranked the highest on these lists. So without further ado, let's get right into this one. All right, so to start this list off, we're going to begin with right wingers and then left wingers. They haven't announced the centers list yet because it's September 17th, and I believe those are going to come out tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to post this video until that one comes out and just add it at the end of this video. But beginning with right wings, let's go through their top 10. At number 1, we have Nikita Kucherov with a 95 rating. At number 2, David Pastrnak with a 95 rating. At number 3, Mikko Rantanen with 93. At number 4, Sam Reinhart with 91. At number 5, Mitch Marner with 91. At number 6, William Nylander with 91. At number 7, Clayton Keller with an 89 rating. At number 8, Mark Stone with an 89 rating. At number 9, Lucas Raymond with an 88 rating. And at number 10, Andrei Svechnikov with an 88 rating. Now, there's a couple things that I actually have a problem with on this list. Number 1, I think Nikita Kucherov should be a little bit higher than David Pastrnak, at least a 96 or 97. I'm not too sure why EA continues to do this thing where they only go up to like a 97 overall for their best players. But regardless, let's just say that they think that Connor McDavid's a 97 or 98. I think Nikita Kucherov and Nathan MacKinnon should be like 1 point behind him. They had better seasons than McDavid last year, and since most of this list is using some recency bias with players like Lucas Raymond and Sam Reinhart making it, I do think that they should consider that as well. David Pastrnak, I'm fine with at number 2, and I think Mikko Rantanen should only be 1 point behind him. People forget how underrated Rantanen is in this league. He continues to put up 100-point seasons and be a huge dominant force for the Avs, so I think he's a little bit underrated on this list, but I'm fine with the top 3. If you want to mess around with the ratings, that's fine, but I do think they got this right. At number 4, I think Sam Reinhart is being wildly overrated, and the first point I want to make about this is on the top 10 right wings and left wings, I didn't see Zach Hyman at all. So if you're going to say Zach Hyman's a left wing or a right wing, if Sam Reinhart's getting on this list for having a very solid year goal-wise, then Zach Hyman needs to be on here too. I don't really like how they just base 1 year off of a player's success. We haven't seen Reinhart be this consistent, so why is he at number 4 when guys like Marner and Nylander have been way better throughout their careers? So I'm bumping Sam Reinhart down. I still would have him in my top 10, just maybe behind like Clayton Keller in my opinion, but I think it would go Nikita Kucherov, David Pastrnak, Mikko Rantanen, then William Nylander would be 1 point above Marner, and then Marner would be number 5. Then I would have Clayton Keller at a 90. I think his game is incredibly underrated. Then I would go ahead and put maybe Mark Stone. I haven't seen Stone be super healthy, but when he's actually on the ice, it makes sense why he's on this top 10 list. I think a few players that probably should be above Svechnikov and Raymond include guys like I said, Hyman, if you want to include him in this list, maybe Patrick Kane, who had a much better productive year than Lucas Raymond did based on the amount of games he played and points that he added, as well as just impact overall. I also think Brock Besser is a huge snub from this list, and I feel like if you're going to talk about Sam Reinhart having such a productive year, then you need to talk about Brock Besser. A true breakout season, like 73 points on the year, I think he needs to be included. But overall, I don't think they did terrible with the right wings list. I do think that Nikita Kucherov should be a little bit higher, and I think that maybe Sam Reinhart needs to be bumped down a few pegs, but overall it's pretty good. Up next, let's go through the top 10 left wings for this game. At number 1, we have Artemi Panarin at 95. At number 2, Kirill Kaprizov at 93. At number 3, Matthew Tkachuk at 92. At number 4, Jason Robertson at 91. At number 5, Kyle Connor 91. At number 6, Philip Forsberg at 90. At number 7, Jake Gensel at 90. At number 8, Brady Tkachuk at 89. At number 9, Jesper Bratt at 89. And at number 10, Alex Ovechkin at 89. Now again, before I even get into this list, if we're talking about recency bias here, Zach Hyman should be on one of these two lists if Sam Reinhart's on there, but let's just keep that out of it. At this point, I do think Kirill Kaprizov's a little bit overrated on this list. I think Matthew Tkachuk is a more better, well-rounded player than Kaprizov is, and I really do love Kirill's game. I just think that he should be more of the 92-91 type of player over Tkachuk. Tkachuk just had back-to-back dominant seasons with the Florida Panthers and was the heart and soul of their roster, helping them get to their first Stanley Cup. So I think we need to give him a little bit more flowers on his game. But I would bump Artemi Panarin still at number 1, maybe a 95, 94. Number 2 would be Matthew Tkachuk. Number 3, Kirill Kaprizov. I'm fine with Jason Robertson at number 4. I think he had a down year because the Dallas Stars were just distributing their offense a little bit better last season compared to the one where he had 100 points. But I expect him to get back to a 100-point season this year, and I still think he's incredibly talented. So I would have Artemi Panarin 95, Matthew Tkachuk 93, Kirill Kaprizov 92, and then Jason Robertson 91. And then Kyle Connor, I feel like he needs to be knocked down maybe 2 pegs. If we're talking about health and just how often this guy actually plays, I don't think he should be a top 5 left winger in the game. I personally think Filip Forsberg is way better than Kyle Connor. Well, maybe not way better, but he is a notch better than him. He has incredible seasons every year, and people just don't talk about him enough. I think he should be the same rating as Jason Robertson at a 91, and then bump Kyle Connor down to the same level as Jake Gensel because I feel like they're the same type of player. Then they have Brady Tkachuk, Jesper Bratt, and Alex Ovechkin at 89. The one player I feel is missing from this list is Brad Marchand, coming off his hip surgery and then having 3 more surgeries this offseason, but still being very productive for the Bruins. I feel like we shouldn't underrate his game at all. He's still incredibly consistent. And I also feel like Alex Ovechkin should probably be higher than Bratt at this point. That doesn't mean that Bratt's overrated or anything like that. I just feel like one kind of down year from Ovi shouldn't be this like huge telling thing about his game, and we should all of a sudden have him as the bottom of this top 10 list. So if I could change one thing about the bottom of this list, it would be Brady Tkachuk at a 90 overall as well. Then I would have Alex Ovechkin at an 89 and Brad Marchand at an 89. And then, of course, bump Matthew Tkachuk above Kirill Kaprizov, and then bump Filip Forsberg above Kyle Connor. But overall, it feels like they basically got the top 10 right, so I can't really complain outside of those few adjustments. Next up is the top 10 goalies for the upcoming game. At number 1, Connor Hellebuyck with a 93 overall, Igor Shesterkin with a 92, Andrei Vasilevsky with a 92, Thatcher Demko with a 91, Jake Ottinger with a 90, Sergei Bobrovsky with a 90, Ilya Sorokin with a 90, UC Saros with an 89, Jeremy Swayman with an 89, and Linus Ullmark with an 89. All right, so right off the dome, these are the changes that I would make to this list. At number 1, it would be Igor Shesterkin. If we're talking about consistency as well as bringing it in the playoffs, I don't think there's a better goalie out there. I would give him that 93 overall rating, and like I said, don't get me started about them not going up to 99. It just doesn't make sense, but this is what we're working with here today, okay? And number 2, this is where I would put Connor Hellebuyck, 92 overall rating. Obviously, he won the Vezina last year, but his playoff numbers just weren't great, and he hasn't been consistent in the postseason, which I do think needs to be accounted for when we're making top 10 goalie lists. And number 3, this is where I would have Thatcher Demko, 91 overall rating. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the most underrated tendies in the league. At number 4, I'm still giving respect to Andrei Vasilevsky. He can also stay at that 91 overall rating. Like I said, you can really move him or Thatcher Demko up and down. They have the same rating, so it doesn't matter. And then at number 5, this is probably the biggest argument that I have for this list, and that's the fact that they put Jake Ottinger over Ilya Sorokin, even though they have the same rating. I think that Ilya Sorokin having one down year isn't enough for them to bump him down below guys like Sergei Bobrovsky and Ottinger. I just feel like he's still a tier above that. Last year, we were all talking about who's the best goalie between him and Shesterkin, and just one off season is going to take that away from him. Not for me. He's going at number 5 with the same rating as Vasilevsky and Demko, 91 at the number 5 position. Then at number 6, I'm going to leave Sergei Bobrovsky. Obviously had a great playoff run and put up some Vezina numbers this year. He can stay at that 90 overall. I do think that Jake Ottinger needs to be bumped down a little bit of a peg. In my opinion, I don't think that he should be above any of the other guys on this list, if I'm being honest. I think up next should be Jeremy Swayman. He also should have a 90 overall, just like Sergei Bobrovsky. And then following him shortly after should be Linus Ullmark, who also should have a 90 overall. People are so quick to forget Linus Ullmark won a Vezina trophy less than 2 years ago, and somehow now Jake Ottinger has passed him without really even being in top 5 considerations. That just feels a little bit crazy to me. Then I would have UC Saros at 89 and Jake Ottinger at 89. But this is how my list would go. Shesterkin at number 1 with a 93, Connor Hellebuyck at number 2 with a 92. Then you would have Sorokin, Demko, and of course Vasilevsky with a 91. Then Bobrovsky, Swayman, and Ullmark with a 90. And then Saros and Ottinger would come in at the bottom with an 89 rating. It's not the worst list from EA. Just feel like there's a few changes that needed to be made. This is the one that I had the most disagreement with. So let me know what you guys think, if you like my list better or EA's. Next up, we got defensemen, and they broke it up into right shot defensemen and left shot defensemen. So let's begin with the right. At number 1, Cale Makar with a 95 rating. Number 2, Charlie McAvoy with 92. Number 3, Adam Fox with 92. Number 4, Noah Dobson, 89. Number 5, Alex Pietrangelo, 89. Number 6, John Carlson, 89. Number 7, Evan Bouchard, 89. Number 8, Brett Pesce, 88. Number 9, Moritz Seider, 88. And number 10, Drew Doughty with an 88. At number 1, they got Cale Makar at 95. I'm fine with it. If that's the highest they're going to go, whatever. He's just the highest ranked defenseman in the game. At number 2, Charlie McAvoy. I think that he should be bumped down behind Adam Fox. I'm putting Fox here at a 94 overall rating. I just think that he's responsible on the power play, the penalty kill, is a consistent 70-point player, and for some reason people are underrating him lately, but not me. I think he's arguably the second best defenseman in the game right now. At number 3, I got Charlie McAvoy at a 93. I think he's responsible just like Fox. He's good on the power play, good on the penalty kill, and he adds such a huge physical element to the Bruins game, as well as being a strong leader for them. So I think he belongs in the top 3. So it's not like EA got it so wrong, but I do think that Fox is just a tier above McAvoy at this point. At number 4, this is where I have Evan Bouchard. I think his game is going to be so important for the Edmonton Oilers, and what he did offensively this year was absolutely tremendous, especially in the postseason. Then at number 5, I'm actually going to keep Alex Pietrangelo because I really do like defensive guys on these sort of lists, and I don't think that Noah Dobson necessarily clears him at this point. I would put Pietrangelo at a 90. I think what he does, he's very consistent, and he's really the heart and soul of that blue line for Vegas. Then I'm going to still keep Noah Dobson at an 89, but he's just going to land number 6 on this list. I like what I saw from him last year offensively, similar to Bouchard. He helped that Islanders offense look way better than it ever has, so he definitely belongs on the top 10 list. Then I'm going to take John Carlson off, like I said, and put Erik Karlsson here. I think he's still better than him offensively and still belongs on a list like this. Then I'll go ahead and bump Moritz Seider up to an 88 right behind Erik Karlsson, and that's the rating they gave him, but I do think that he belongs higher than Pesce and Doughty. Then I'm going to go ahead and put Pesce right behind Moritz Seider at an 87, and then keep Drew Doughty there at an 87 as well. Not too many complaints here. Like I said, I think that some of the ratings should be dispersed a little bit more evenly, because I don't think that McAvoy is at the same level as Fox, or the fact that Noah Dobson is at the same level as Pietrangelo or Bouchard. Just a few tweaks here and there, but the top 10 is basically right outside of John Carlson. And last one we have today before we wait another day for the centers list to come out is the left shot defenseman. So let's get into that top 10. At number 1, they have Quinn Hughes with a 94. Number 2, Roman Josi with a 93. Number 3, Miro Heiskanen with a 92. Number 4, Victor Hedman with a 92. Number 5, Rasmus Dahlin with a 91. Number 6, Devon Toews with an 89. Number 7, Josh Morrissey, 89. Number 8, Jacob Slavin, 89. Number 9, Jonas Brodin with an 89. And then number 10, Zach Werenski with an 88. All right, so right off the rip, why Roman Josi is a 93 but Adam Fox is a 92 will never make sense to me. But regardless, I think Adam Fox can hang with both of these guys, and I could have serious debates about him potentially being better than both. But regardless, Quinn Hughes at a 94, that makes sense. He's the cover athlete coming off a Norris Trophy winning season, so that's fine with me. He's definitely the best left shot defenseman in the game. Number 2, Roman Josi, I'm actually going to swap him with Heiskanen. I'm much higher on Heiskanen than I am Josi. I just think his skating and his edges are just a million times better, as well as the fact that I just think he's way more responsible defensively. Even though he lacks a little bit in the offensive zone, I just really like his game overall more than Josi's, but not by much. Josi is coming right after him at a 92 compared to Heiskanen's 93. Then at number 4, Victor Hedman being the same rating as Josi makes more sense to me. I feel like he's more comparable to Josi than Heiskanen is comparable to Hedman, if that makes sense. And then at number 5, I'm totally fine with Rasmus Dahlin landing at a 91. At number 6, Devon Toews being an 89 and Josh Morrissey being an 89 feels fine, but I do think that Jacob Slavin should be a 90. I think what he brings to Carolina defensively is huge, so I'm actually bumping him up to number 6 and then shifting Devon Toews and Josh Morrissey down a peg. I think that Brodin being at number 9 is fine at an 89 too. I think he's about on the same level as Toews and Morrissey, and then Zach Werenski being at an 88 feels okay to me too. Now, the only couple things that I really didn't like about these defenseman lists was the Adam Fox thing and then John Carlson being so high on the last list, with the exclusion of Erik Karlsson. I do personally think that Adam Fox is better than Quinn Hughes and better than Roman Josi. I can see why people would put Hughes over him. Don't get me wrong. That one's way closer, but it's just a personal preference for me. But let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think Adam Fox is better than Quinn Hughes and Roman Josi? Drop your thoughts below. All right, guys, a little bit of a change of clothes here because it's now September 18th and EA officially released the top 10 centers list. So let's take a look at that next. At number 1, they have Connor McDavid with a 97 rating. At number 2, Nathan MacKinnon with a 96 rating. At number 3, Leon Draisaitl with a 95 rating. At number 4, Austin Matthews with a 95 rating as well. At number 5, Sid the Kid getting some respect, a 94 rating in this one. At number 6, to tie Sid, is Alexander Barkov with a 94 rating. At number 7, cover athlete Jack Hughes gets a rating of 93. At number 8, Braden Point at a 92. At number 9, JT Miller with a 92 rating as well. And at number 10, Jack Eichel comes in with a 91 rating. Honestly, there's not all that much to be mad about here outside of the fact that they refuse to go up to the 99 rating, because that would just make it a lot easier for you to separate each one individually rather than kind of clustering them all with the same rating. I think easily Connor McDavid's the best center, and then Nathan MacKinnon, there shouldn't be any arguments there. Leon Draisaitl and Austin Matthews, people can debate it all the time, but I do think that they're about the same level of player, and you could swap either one at 3 and 4. I really do like the Sid and Barkov respect. They're getting rated pretty high in this game. And then the bottom 4, I feel like you could definitely argue for guys, like I said, like Sebastian Aho and Elias Pettersson, but outside of that, I don't think that there's really anybody else that I would consider above these guys, and I do think that JT Miller, Braden Point, and Jack Eichel all deserve some flowers, so I'm pretty happy with their top 10. Like I said, I just wish you could maybe separate the players a little bit more, just by ranking like Connor McDavid as the best player like they do in Madden and other games. But these are the top 10 rankings for every position for the upcoming EA NHL 25 game. Let me know if you guys agree with my opinions on this and all of the changes that I suggested, and make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, let me know if you guys are going to be buying NHL 25 in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one.